How's it going, guys? My name is Tavarish, and today we're taking the first steps to turn my 200,000 mile cheap Toyota Supra into a supercar. So if you guys are new to the channel, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys like it. This thing is my 1995 Toyota Supra SE, and this was the cheapest Toyota Supra in the country at the time of purchase. Since then, the prices for these things have gone sort of insane. And the reason for that is because, well, these cars are nostalgic icons. People that wanted these cars when they were kids can now afford these cars, and now the prices kind of go through the roof. But this one is a cheap example. 200,000 miles, it has a naturally aspirated 2JZ engine, and it needs a little bit of love, especially on the paintwork. Now, I have made a few videos in the past kind of detailing what I'm gonna do, but just in case you guys haven't seen those videos, here's a quick recap. All right, so this is the 2JZ GE engine. It makes around 220 something horsepower, and it has a ton of miles on it. So this thing is going away, at least most of it is. I'm leaving the block. I'm leaving the 200,000 mile block, and I'm putting a GTE with VVTi, variable valve timing, cylinder head, and we're gonna make that to a pretty decently sized turbo, and we're gonna do an intercooler, we're gonna do an exhaust, we're gonna do everything that will enable this car to make over 500 horsepower at the wheels. And that's gonna include a standalone engine management unit by AEM, which gives me complete control of all the tuning parameters. In addition, we're gonna overhaul the exterior because this paint is pretty past it, and we're gonna make this thing not handle like a good handling Supra. We're gonna make this thing handle like a supercar, because the new Supra, the Mark V Supra, is coming out, and I want this car to be better than that Supra in every way. Now, I know what you guys are probably thinking. The Mark V is not as good looking as the Mark IV. It's not as iconic. It wasn't in Fast and the Furious, and it probably can't make the same amount of power when modified. That is all true. However, this car is already almost 30 years old. At least the technology inside is. And we're gonna have to do a lot of work to make sure that this can keep up with the brand new stuff. So I do have a little bit of experience with the new Supra, the A90, because Michelin sent me to Goodwood Festival of Speed last year, and I got to talk to the chief engineer, Tetsuya Tada. And on top of him being super excited, he let me know a few of the technical details that make that car stand out from the crowd. It's a two-seater, where this is a four-seater, sort of. It also has some aerodynamic goodies in the front and the back. The fender has this cool little slit where air comes through, and the same with the back bumper. It also has an electronic diff instead of a traditional limited slip or open differential. This one actually has an open differential. We need to change that in any case. But the biggest difference about that car is the fact that it's not really Toyota at all. It's a partnership between Toyota and BMW actually made most of the parts: the engine, the transmission, the interior panels, the suspension, all that stuff. BMW is really good at making suspension and making cars that handle, so that car is going to handle very well. This car is, well, it has suspension from 30 years ago, and even 30 years ago, it wasn't exactly the best thing in the world. So today, we are going to change that by installing these babies. These are BC Racing's DS series coilovers, and they're a step above the BR series that I have on my SL55 and my old Aston Martin V8 Vantage. Let's open these up. Oh, it feels just like Christmas, except Christmas was last week. Unless you're watching this at another time, which that doesn't make any sense. Awesome, the build specialist was Ray. So since we're building this car into a supercar of sorts, I wanted supercar suspension, and the DS series is fit for the job. These are a little bit different than the BR series because they have a digressive piston design. What that means is essentially you feel more of the road at lower speeds. It's going to be a little bit more harsh at lower speeds and then soften up when you get up higher. But since these are valved and sprung in a certain way, it just gives that much more road feel, and it gives that much more response. So this on a road car is basically the best you can get without going to specifically race components. Now, BC has supported my channel for quite a long time. We've done a lot of custom builds, and we will continue to do custom builds in the future. and when they sent me over this set, I could not be happier. So just like with most of BC's stuff, this is height adjustable right here, and it doesn't actually change the spring rate. We'll see what the difference is on the coilovers on my car. It doesn't actually have stock suspension, but we're gonna see the difference when we take that out. And the dampening up here is adjustable to make sure that you get the exact ride quality that you want. All right, that's enough unboxing. Let's get this on the car. All right, now that we have one of the coilovers out, I can show you the difference between the Tane Street Advance coilover and the BC Racing DS series coilover. So this guy right here is a basic coilover. This is like an entry-level thing. I'm not even sure that these are rebuildable. If they go, I think you just have to buy a new one. These are kind of the bargain basement one, and they have a sort of Achilles heel. So let's say you wanted to lower or raise the suspension. All you have to do is rotate this perch right here, but if you notice, the entire tube moves, and that's not exactly great because that increases or decreases the shock travel. Now, the shock travel is basically the amount of travel that you have in the suspension until you hit the bump stops, and that's like a hard crash. That means you bottomed out the suspension. Now, when you lower this, that means that you're getting that gap a little bit closer, and that's not exactly great because you want something that handles well, and if you want to look a little bit better, you want it also to handle just as well as it looks. But with the DS series, this bottom part is actually separate from the entire assembly, meaning that you can control ride height without affecting anything else. You don't have to affect spring preload or shock travel or anything. So you can be as low as you want, but you're still gonna get really good ride quality. There's also a difference in weight. This is really light, and you can tell the spring is also much more compact, and the spring rates are made specifically for this car, but this is wow, that's pretty heavy. Unfortunately, I don't have a scale here in the garage, so you just kind of take my word for it, but this is, yeah. So I will include a link in the description below for these guys. If you don't want to do the DS, if you don't want to do a step above, the BR series is very, very good. I have them on my SL55 and I love them. I had them on my Aston Martin and they transformed the way that car performed and handled. But I think I have a little bit more work ahead of me, taking out these guys and installing these guys. So time lapse it is. All right, guys, we're done. We removed those Tane coilovers and we put in the new hotness, the BC DS series. And they look pretty good. Now, I'm not putting the wheels on just yet because I have a little bit more I have to do on this car. And you can see it over there. I'm not gonna ruin the surprise just yet, but you're gonna see it in the next episode. All right, check this out. You can see the BC Racing logo down there. It looks mighty beefy indeed. Now, this was a little bit of a finicky install. I thought it was gonna be a little easier, but on the Mark IV Supra, the upper control arm bolts, they're a little bit hard to take out because it's a super long bolt and it fouls on this guy right here, so you have to kind of move it out of the way. But other than that, it's just one bolt on the bottom, right there, and then 3 bolts on top, and it's the same thing for the back. You can see the 1 bolt down here, and then you got, let's just move this out of the way. Then you got 3 bolts up here, and you have that cool adjustment. Actually, I'm gonna adjust them right now. So I'm gonna set it to 15, which is right in the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Perfect. So since these coilovers are height adjustable, I did set the ride height to a little bit lower than what my outgoing coilovers were. The reason why is because these tend to be a little bit more stiff, and when I put the car on the ground, they'll droop a little bit less. So those are more like traditional struts and springs. But I don't want to put the wheels on just yet because these chrome things, these really ugly, heavy things, they're not coming back on this car. I have some new wheels that are gonna make this thing look just amazing. And you guys are gonna see that in a little bit, probably next episode actually. I really like working on these cars. It's super simple compared to European stuff, so I'm enjoying this every step of the way. But it's late, I'm tired. We did get a lot of work today, but I think I'm getting a little bit loopy. So if you want to contact me, you can do so at the social links down below. BC Racing down below, all the tools that I used, all that stuff down below. If you'd like to buy a shirt, actually this one's not available. You can't get it. You were too late. If you want to buy a shirt that you could actually get, go to my Teespring link, and every dollar from profit goes directly to charity at the end of every month. But until next time, this is me reminding you that on cars like this that now have amazing suspensions that I can't wait to try, you guys need to wrench every day.